Since Elon Musk's Twitter takeover, the employees in the company have been kept in the dark. There is fear and dread spread across Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco regarding the job cuts. And in the latest, Twitter has now sent an email to its employees. It says that Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, will begin mass layoffs on Friday. The email further read, and I'm quoting here, in an effort to place within Twitter on a healthy path, the company will go through the difficult process of reducing its global workforce on Friday. The notice further outlined that those who will keep their jobs will get an email on the work account, and those being laid off will receive a notification on their personal email. The employees have further been reminded not to disclose any kind of information on social media. The latest email to the Twitter employees also comes just a day after reports suggested that Musk wanted to cut 3,700 jobs at Twitter, which is nearly 50% of its workforce. According to reports, Musk has further directed Twitter teams to find up to $1 billion in annual infrastructure cost savings. The layoffs, which were long expected, have chilled Twitter's famously open corporate culture. Meanwhile, the Twitter users in India are also facing problems logging in on their microblogging website. Multiple users in India are getting a similar error code. There have been over 135 reports on outages on the platform till now. And for more on this, we're now being joined by WION Sharan, and public policy expert on technology and market. Welcome to the broadcast, Mr. Sharan.
Hi.
Now, there's a lot of chaos and confusion amongst the Twitter employees in San Francisco, especially after Twitter announced that it will begin mass layoffs. There is a lot of ambiguity amongst Twitter employees. What comes next for the employees and Twitter?
So I think obviously it's a tough time. I think in the overall context of the economic downturn we're seeing globally, it's bad news, of course, for Twitter employees, but it's also in keeping with a trend where large tech companies in Silicon Valley have either frozen hiring or began some form of rationalization of the workforce. Of course, this is a very different context with Twitter attempting to, rationalize a much larger part of their global workforce. And it has direct implications on countries like India, where one could argue that the company is not equipped to handle even the user base and the conversations and the complexities of a jurisdiction such as this. So it will also have an impact on the kind of speech we see online, and it goes far beyond the platform itself.
Right. How do you think that Musk could recoup the $44 billion he paid for buying the microblogging site? As there are a plethora of changes. He's firing staff, changing the top management. And now the big advertisers are also growing wary of his moves.
So there are obviously, for any business, there are two ways to recoup costs. One is to cut your own, which he's doing actively by reducing the size of the workforce. As I mentioned, that will, of course, have unintended consequences on the quality of speech on the platform, and so on. And the other is to earn revenue through advertising or subscriptions. He's going down the subscription route for now, because advertising is not something that you can force. It is a function of how market forces respond to the evolution of the platform. Subscription is a tough business. We've seen a lot of other kinds of subscription models actually gravitate towards advertising over the last couple of months. This includes large video-on-demand businesses. For instance, Netflix has started advertising on its platform from this week in a few jurisdictions. So it's going to be tough going, and by some estimates, it's going to take hundreds of years. If it's just the current blue-checked people who are going to be paying $8 a month, and at PPP, that too across the world, it's going to take hundreds of years for Twitter to recover investments just from Elon Musk to recover his multi-billion-dollar investment just from the subscription strategy. But obviously, it's also something to ensure that shareholders and stakeholders in the company feel like there is a path towards monetization and profitability, which is historically not something that startups in the social media space have aspired towards outside of a few.
Right. My last question to you, Mr. Sharan. Just a few hours back, a lot of Twitter users in India were facing trouble logging in. Do you think that this outage is linked to the change in the top administration?
So Elon Musk has given his workforce quite a few number of deadlines to implement lots of features related changes. And it is quite possible that in the hurry to implement those deadlines, there are technical failures that happen. I don't know whether the outage in India is related to the mandate that he's given his employees. But, he's, for instance, given a 3-day turnaround time for looking at a particular feature and coming back to him and reporting on the risks of changing that feature. Now, if people are actually experimenting and Twitter is a sandbox environment for the company as it stands today, then obviously we're likely to continue to see quality of service disruptions over the next few weeks and months.
Thank you, Mr. Sharan, for joining us in WION at this hour and sharing your insights on this. Thanks very much.